wish I was in school.
If only I had a math test today. I'll stay after class.
I'll clean the chalkboard.
I wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help.
How we find ourselves together. Let us raise our voices and sing songs we'll have forever. Through this world we're wandering, sing together one and all. We will sing of joy and sorrow, of the past and love's tomorrow. We will sing, sing, sing. We will sing of joy and sorrow, of the past and love's tomorrow. We will sing, sing, sing. We will sing, sing, sing. We will sing.
We're here to celebrate a landmark in history, space, and the city. A landmark in the history of the Cultural Gardens, a centennial event 100 years after the forefathers laid down the first monument for Shakespeare, followed by 75 monuments for notables from 35 countries around the world. A landmark in space to transform these gardens into a destination place for families to gather and enjoy cultural and educational activities. A landmark in the city to affirm the diversity and multicultural life in our great city of Cleveland. This place will be the gathering place for people of the world. These cultural gardens are unique in the world, and we want to make sure they prosper and expand into the future. I want to salute the generations of volunteers who carried on the mission of the Gardens and the Gardens Federation through 100 years and continue to be the trusted custodians in our time. We're proud of what our forefathers did, who started this journey, and we want our future generation to be proud of what we're doing today. I will start by recognizing the efforts and dedication of our team. I want to start by recognizing our great architect, Mr. Burj Shakarian. Who has been the guiding force behind this project. I want to recognize the Plaza Committee members, headed by Paul Burek, and including Sheila Crawford, Tom Turkley, Mehmet Genser, Caroline Baylog, Ashim Data, and Lori Ashik. They spent countless hours on counseling and fundraising and organizing. I want to please raise your hands. The committee, the Plaza Committee. Thank you. I can't tell you how many hours were spent in meetings to fine-tune this process over 10 months and to fundraise so we can be here today. I want to recognize the board members of the Federation who gave a lot of their time and wisdom for the project. This plaza wouldn't have happened without the financial and logistical support from many organizations. I start with the City of Cleveland. Thank you, Mayor, for being here today. The city invested heavily in the infrastructure of the area and expanding the gardens with 15 new lots that will be available to new communities. The first expansion of such a magnitude in 100 years. And they're exploring options to facilitate parking spaces and other logistics in the area. A special thank you to Valerie McCall, Mayor Jackson's assistant, right hand. I don't know her title exactly, she's the right hand. And Alex Lackey, thank you for all your help. Alex attended our meetings and he's been the liaison with the city, and he's been very helpful to make things happen. Thank you again. A big gratitude to the Cuyahoga County Office and Council for a major financial support. I want to thank the Holden Trust for their very early pledge and UCI for their support. They pledged and started this process 3 years ago. Thank you, Chris. A special thank you to the Cleveland Foundation for their critical support at the beginning of this project that allowed the Federation to have an executive director and to have the seed money to start this plaza. A thank you for the Gund Foundation, the Cleveland Sewer District, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and Key Bank. A special thank you for generous donors, Mr. Jules and Frank Belkin. Jules. Thank you for my wife. She's the great supporter. I don't know how she put up with me all these years. Mr. Dick Pogue, Mr. Alex Machaski, and Ms. Margaret Wong, the IMED Corporation, Sam and Maria Miller, and others. Thank you all for contributing from your hearts generously for this great project. Now I want to introduce Mr. Paul Burek, the head of the Plaza Committee, to say a few words.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. This is a great day for the Federation. This is the first time the Federation is taking on a project of this magnitude. A few years ago, we did the little kiosk over there, but this dwarfs it by multiple times. What I hope that this plaza will accomplish, besides the things that were already mentioned, the gathering place of the various nationalities, place for performances and sharing of ideas and education. But I believe, as an architect, that having a large central plaza like this will define the gardens and let people know that they have arrived in the gardens, and it's time to park and get out of the car and start walking in the gardens. And I think that doesn't happen right now very much. So, and I just heard that we may have a permission to use the property across the street as parking. Mayor, thank you. That will be a great asset. I want to credit the architect. Being an architect myself, we often sort of get the sidebar recognition, and I think the architect of this plaza really came through with some great ideas. We had sort of a early design charrette 3 years ago when this process started, and Bert Shakarian behind me came forth with a grand design, and just took it from there on and delivered the project to a point where we're at today. ready for the groundbreaking. I had the opportunity to visit Falling Waters, which is Frank Lloyd Wright's masterpiece. And Frank Lloyd Wright, if you don't know, is probably iconic American architect. And so I picked up a little gift for Birch. As an architect, when you sit down in front of blank paper and you have your pencil and you start dreaming, and I'm sure Birch went through many pencils before he refined his design. Of course, he probably did it on a computer now. But we're with the older generation where we work with pencil. And so I brought him a set of pencils from Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water house. And they're kind of special. Each pencil has a quote from Frank Lloyd Wright. For example, on the back it says, this is Frank Lloyd Wright, "You have to go wholeheartedly into anything in order to achieve anything worth having." So that's the way it is. So Birch, Shikarian, please come. And I would also like Sheila Crawford, and I gotta give credit to Sheila Crawford, who was president when this process got started, and she has originated or been fundamental to this plaza. So Sheila, why don't you come here and you guys can share a few words. Here are your pencils.
Thank you. I needed those. We are pleased to share this exciting endeavor with you to create a civic place that celebrates the centennial of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation. This is a fine opportunity to both increase awareness of our cultural heritage as Americans and to create a wonderful teaching moment for the community at large. The Plaza shall serve as a gathering place for our One World Day event that celebrates citizenship, including cultural events throughout the year. In this regard, we are the custodians of this important national patrimony. Set in Rockefeller Park between Lake Erie and University Circle, the gardens include sculptures and memorials representing more than 30 nationalities. It is a landmark with a cosmopolitan reputation that promotes understanding. It is our intent to provide a setting for memory, meaning, reflection, and community. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Paul. By the way, a great story about Frank Lloyd Wright. When Falling Water was completed, Edgar Kaufman, who was the owner, was having dinner. And all of a sudden there was a roof leak. And he got on the phone and he called Wright and he said to Wright, Mr. Wright, I have a roof leak here right at my dinner table. What shall I do? Wright, in his grandiose way, said, "Move your chair."
Thank you, Burge. That's a great story. Well, I'm Sheila Murphy Crawford, and I'm the past president of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation. And along with Dr. Curry and Paul Burek, you have three presidents right here who have been leaders of the cultural gardens, who are custodians and care for them. And you can tell that we're not going away. We love the gardens. We will be here, all of us, to protect them and to make sure that they prosper. And we will do our best to do the best for you, for the delegates, for all the nationalities that belong to the Cleveland Cultural Gardens. And we can't thank you enough. In addition, I want to thank all those who volunteered today. You know, we're very careful about spending your money, and we are so grateful to you for donating to this project as well as the other cultural garden projects. But thank you, we were careful. Thank you to the band, No Strangers Here. I know you were introduced to my husband, Bob, but also we have Larry Bachtel and Pat Hoynes, and most of all, their music director and promoter, Michael Conkey. So thank you to all of you for coming today and donating your services and the sound equipment and everything to make the day special. Also, to all the delegates who brought the food today. That too was a part of the evening. We hope you go over and finish it and enjoy yourselves. When we talked about doing this plaza in 2016, which was the 100th anniversary, it was important to me that we try to do some kind of project that would honor those volunteers in the past, those who had been here for 100 years, who kept the gardens going no matter what the status. But they, with their hard work, kept pushing forward. They never gave up, they persevered. To those who are amongst you today, who continue that task and are just as dedicated and hardworking, and then also to the future generations, we hope this moves on and that this Centennial Plaza will be just a symbol of how all of us, no matter our backgrounds, our homelands, our nationalities, but all of us work together for the glory of this space, our peace through mutual understanding, and most of all, our beautiful city of Cleveland. So thank you very much to all of you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you all. A special thank you to the delegates of the other gardens who are here today. Each garden is represented by 2 delegates to the Federation. And they've been very supportive, and we seek their counsel. We meet with them regularly, and we appreciate their participation. Can you raise your hands, the delegates from other gardens, please? Thank you. I'm going to call now on a few friends and supporters of the project to say a few words. I'm going to start with Mr. Chris Ronayne, the president of UCI.
Thank you, Weil. Boy, this is one of those nights we just linger. We like being out here tonight. It's a beautiful night in Cleveland, and I always think of this as a family reunion whenever we are with the Cleveland Cultural Garden Federation. So hello again, family. Family from across Cleveland. I would also be remiss if I didn't say, repeat what Sheila Crawford had referenced. It's a perfect band name for what we are here about tonight and who we represent. No strangers here. So thank you guys. Not only is the music great, but your name is great. I want to say we represent one neighborhood of several neighborhoods that are part of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens. I saw our friend Chris Shefton earlier from Famicos representing Glenville, the St. Clair Superior neighborhood, the Huff neighborhood, the University Circle neighborhood, and neighborhoods beyond all out throughout this region that you live in. It's an honor to be here on behalf of the Holden Parks Trust, but first and foremost, just want to say we are a collection of many neighborhoods around this great park. Since Weil brought it up, I'm going to reference Mayor Jackson's office, and thank you. It was Mayor Frank Jackson whose team, Chief McCall and others, who sat, a number of us, Debbie Berry, you probably remember, a few of us sat down in the second floor of economic development in the room with the beautiful Cleveland skyline, and somebody from the city, I think it was Valerie, said, "Who's in?" And we said, "We're in," and it wouldn't have happened without you pulling us in. So thank you, Mayor, for pulling us together. I thank Mayor Frank G. Jackson. I also want to say, man standing to his left represents the neighborhood, Kevin Conwell, just to our east, and thank you, Kevin, but need to say, if you're liking a night like tonight, and if tomorrow is anything like tonight, come hear Kevin's band at Wait Over Wednesday. He's kicking off our summer series, so come see Kevin Conwell. Also, while I'm making the rounds at City Hall, I just want to make one more mention. It's a man always on the move, but former councilman and now CEO of Global Cleveland, Joe Simperman, thanks for all you do to bring us all together in Cleveland, Ohio. Love you, man, and thank you for your work. Finally, I want to say, and Sheila Crawford will remember this, both to Sheila and Lori, congratulations, and to the 3 presidents, thank you guys for your efforts. We would be remiss if we didn't mention one other very important person from Cleveland City Hall, and that is former Mayor George Voinovich. I want to say on a very serious note, Sheila and I stood on a Saturday morning our Sunday morning here in the park. It was a weekend when we raised the flag of the Cultural Garden flag at the Plaza in 2016. And as former Councilman Simperman reminded me, George Voinovich's last stop at a meeting was at a meeting as a member of the public at Cleveland City Hall in the Rotunda, just checking in the night before he passed. It was George Voinovich who started, during his tenure, an organization called the Holden Parks Trust, and that's why I'm standing here. I chair the Holden Parks Trust, which was, thanks to Mayor Jackson's encouragement, the first in to make the investment in 2016 because we believe in what you're doing. But none of that would happen without Mayor Voinovich putting together a trust that would be a steward, that would continue to make improvements with the Cleveland Cultural Gardens in this park, to your statuary, to your gardens, to your masonry, to the 30-plus gardens that now make this place special. We thank Mayor George Voinovich, who put us together, and we were able, because of him, to matriculate funds to make the investment, to make the first pledge. So here's to the city of Cleveland, to our mayors, to our council members, to our neighborhoods, to our populace across the region, and here's to George Voinovich and his good friend Sheila Crawford, who started this journey with him. And I'm going to give this to Lori Asha because I know she'll hang it somewhere in her office, but it's a resolution I won't read because I've already taken up too much time. But from the Holden Parks Trust, we thank you, we applaud you, and we look forward after this groundbreaking to the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Next, I like to introduce Councilman Mr. Kevin Conwell. He's the councilman of Ward 9. We're in his land now, in his territory. Kevin has been a great supporter of the Federation and the Plaza project. And a very, very special thank you to his wife, Yvonne Conwell, who's on our board, the Federation board, and who was instrumental in securing significant support from the county. So she can't be here because it's a county council meeting tonight. Kevin, thank you for being here.
Thank you very, very much. I was listening to the band, I was listening to you guys when I was in here. I was hearing other people, but I was listening to you. And you sound very, very cool, man. I really, really dug it. It was really, really cool. As a musician myself, it helped me out to understand cultures as well as to have good character and self-discipline. And you have to organize, you have to play. But you guys practice a lot, and I really, really dig listening to you. You have to understand all kind of music. This here could be a teachable moment, Mr. Mayor, with the students that you push with young children. They can learn about music, but they also can learn about the culture of music. Music and the arts and the culture are directly correlated. I was in Phoenix on between April the 20th to the 27th, and my wife, County Councilwoman Yvonne Conwell, took me to a place. It was studying the history of instruments in Phoenix, Arizona. It was 109 degrees there. I had to stick that in. And we visit the different exhibits, and we listen to Nigerian music. And they had the history of Nigeria. We listened to Irish music, and they had the history of Irish. And we could do that here. And it was groups of children there learning about other cultures and ethnic groups there and studying music at the same time. This is the framework of something great. I see it right here, and all you have to do is go online and study the history of instruments in Phoenix, and you can see, and we can look at lessons learned, and then we can use some of this stuff here, because man, this right here could be very, very good, and a teachable moment for our children. A teachable moment so they can learn about everything that we want them to. Now, I'll say this as a musician, and I'm very, very touched. I'm here 100% for this. I'm here 100%. This is good. This is very, very good. So you have my number. As a matter of fact, what they do, Mr. Mayor, if they can't reach me, they talk with my wife, and then I hear her before I go to sleep. So So you got me on lockdown, even to the back door. So thank you very, very much. And I'm here as a musician, I understand, and God bless.
I'd like to ask Mr. Nelson Beckford from the Cleveland Foundation to say a few words.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'll be very, very brief, but we take this moment to do a land acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge that we're on native land of the Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois Nation, and we're all immigrants. So this event celebrates the diversity and multiculturalism of Cleveland, which is a great thing. Really quickly, I represent the Cleveland Foundation. We're longtime supporters of parks and public spaces, and we invested in this project because it aligns with a lot of things we care about. These neighborhoods, multiculturalism, and making Cleveland a welcoming place for all. So thank you on this wonderful day, and enjoy the rest of the program.
I'd like to ask Mrs. Crystal Davis from the Sewer District to say a few words. And thank them for their support.
Well, good evening, and thank you very much for asking me to speak. I appreciate that. We are here to just be a part of something wonderful, something moving, and something inspirational. And as a sewer district representative, we appreciate that, and we're welcomed with our opportunity to provide this sponsorship. Thank you very much, and enjoy your evening.
We're very honored today to have the mayor of the great city of Cleveland with us, and he's going to say a few words.
Good evening. And I want to really congratulate Culture Garden Federation and all of the various culture gardens for the Plaza, the Centennial Plaza. You know, this is a place, as Councilman Conwell said, where people will gather, and it serves as a focal point for all the various cultures and all the various gardens to come together, not only on one World Day, but to really celebrate. And if there's a need for a particular culture garden to do something, they can do it at this place. And I want to thank the Federation and thank all of the different culture gardens for their commitment. This asset that we have in the city of Cleveland would not be this but for your commitment to it, your passion for it, your love of it. We invest money, as was mentioned before. We've invested over $2 million. We're looking at future investment by working with the Federation to see what their recommendations are. And as we move forward, it is so important that you continue to do your work and to do your work in the way that you've done it, because it makes it so much easier for us when we have a complete plan and a vision of this, not only this particular spot, but the culture gardens in general. So your leadership is so important. So again, congratulations and thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce to you also Ms. Lori Ashik. She is the Executive Director of the Federation and has been working very hard on streamlining the office and the fundraising and all the efforts related to the Garden Federation and its committees. And we were able to pull this through within a 10-month period. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And we couldn't have done this in addition to Sheila's work and the board work. Of course, I want to give a shout out to our board president, Dr. Curry, for all of his work. There are, what I've heard, are 120 different cultures in Cleveland. I've heard figures that are a little higher, a little lower, but give or take, that's about it. And almost 1/3 of them are going to be represented in these gardens. There are now 31 gardens that have been dedicated, officially dedicated, which means there's some kind of installation, and they've got their permanent sign and their flags, And there are several more in development. Where are the people from the Columbian Garden? Are they still here? Yes, right here. This is our latest garden, our newest garden that's going to be coming in that we just approved. So we will have, right now we have between the installed gardens and the developing gardens about 40 gardens. So that's about a third of the cultures in Cleveland. And that is, the British Garden was the first one. The second was founded in 1926 by Jewish immigrants to Cleveland who came and settled on the Near East Side, and then they moved to Glenville. And then all of the older Eastern European gardens were built by a lot of them were built by the WPA during the Great Depression. So, and then in the more recent years, we've welcomed communities from the Middle East and Asia, as well as the African American garden. The Ethiopian garden right down the street, in case you've been driving by it, is in the midst of doing its first installation. And the Lebanese garden just finished its first phase. So my point is here that these gardens tell stories of the past and current immigration to Cleveland and to the United States. They tell stories of artists, musicians, scientists, and peacemakers. And with this plaza, we will create programming that helps amplify and tell these stories even more for the benefit of our entire community. This will be an outdoor classroom, a space for civic forums on diversity and multiculturalism, and a place for outdoor theater, music, and dance, all with an international flavor, of course, and some with a local flavor. We also want to be a welcoming space for receptions and for the people of Glenville and the people of the surrounding neighborhoods. So in case you haven't seen the sign out there, and if you haven't seen pictures, we will have amphitheater seating for about 300 people. There will be a stage around Plaza, and it will be a real true central gathering place. We've begun conversations with partner institutions such as FAMICOS, University Circle, the Cleveland Museum of Art, CIM, Cleveland Institute of Music, and others to explore specific programmings. We've also deepened and expanded our dialogues with schools to develop teachers' guides to the gardens and more useful tools to learn about all of these different cultures that are here. So there's much to promote and explore here, and we want to use this plaza as a starting place for programs, events, and activities in the culture gardens. This is really an untapped resource. You don't know how many people say to me, you know, I've always wanted to go there, but they've never stopped, and they've never really known what's here, or they drive down MLK and they don't know that there's an upper level. So this will give us an opportunity to have many more events and to have people come here and really learn about the gardens, and this will be a great benefit and a great resource for the whole community to use. And just a note before I go, for some of you, I did put the summer schedule. I hope most of you got it, the summer schedule for the cultural gardens. We hope to have some activities here in this plaza next summer, but this summer there's still a lot going on. There's Juneteenth going on this coming Saturday. There will be the Liszt piano concert and the Hungarian concert on the 23rd of June, of course the Italian opera at the end of July, and our One World Day celebration on August 25th. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. More good news that may be coming, that there is a plan for a future home for the Federation towards the end of the garden stretch here. And FAMICOS, the local development organization, is working on that. And there is significant support in the city and foundations to build it up. And we like to make it an educational center beside being our home center. So there will be opportunities for students to come and learn about international issues and history and so forth. So I thank you for being here. We like to make sure that we see you during One More Day. It's our big event, annual event. In the last couple of years, it's been attended by 20,000 plus people. And every year we learn from our experience and we expand the programs. It should be very exciting along the stretch of all the gardens, and many of them will have their local programs. So hope to see you there. We hope that you keep supporting this project. This is a very important project. We still have a way to go to finish it completely. Our development director, Ashim Data, will be very happy to contact you and show your support and be generous for this noble project here. Thank you again and hope to see you again, and enjoy the gardens. And please join us for the actual groundbreaking event for the Plaza.
One, two, three.
We will sing of joy and sorrow, of the past and love's tomorrow. We will sing, sing, sing. We will sing of joy and sorrow, of the past and love's tomorrow. We will sing, sing, sing. We will sing, sing, sing. We will sing.
There are road closures in the area that may be impacting your commute or are about to. I-490 is currently closed between East 55th and I-77 from now through May of 2021, while construction crews work on Section 3 of the Opportunity Corridor. Beginning Monday, June 17th, 77 North will be reduced to 2 lanes between Pershing Avenue and I-490 through September, for bridge and pavement work. And the West 45th Street ramp for the West Shoreway is closed now and for the next 5 months, while the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District continues its construction of the Westerly Storage Tunnel. Drivers on the Shoreway can access Detroit Avenue and other nearby streets by using the West 73rd or West 25th Street exit ramps. For more information, including detours and additional info, visit the Ohio Department of Transportation's website or call 216-581-2100. Thanks to Mayor Frank Jackson's enhanced budget, made possible by the passing of Issue 32, there's a lot of great road work happening in our neighborhoods. To find out what's going on, visit clevelandcityhall.com.
Slightly sporadic, but damn near a masterpiece. 'Cause you switch so flawlessly from major to minor, you finish on to